Create yourself, suckers. Okay, so I invented EK before there was no EK. EK. Okay, so some thoughts on creating yourself. Fresh cut from Cindy. The wall, the WAHL brand. And actually, yeah, it's super easy. I mean, like, Cindy does it for me at the house. Just do it close to the bathroom. Just dicing it up when you're done. Yeah, actually, it's like... Okay, so lots of thoughts. The first thought is there's so much of like life, everyday life, blah blahs that like important things, right? So for example, your hair, cutting your hair, facial hair, etc. So I have some thoughts. First, don't grow a beard or facial hair, it'll make you look ugly, right? My only suggestion is if you want to look more handsome, shave the sides and just let the back bang. Just get some olive oil cheap. There's like some cheap gel on Amazon. Cindy buys me for like a 5-pound tub. That's the key. And actually the good thing about Amazon Primes, whatevs, is like everything you see at like Rite Aid and CVS is like so overpriced. And like I still remember like my shock is like some guys get suckered into buying like wax pomades, like this little fucking tiny thing for $20. I'm like, that's such an effing scam, right? I mean, same thing with shampoo. Just go on Amazon, buy the organic shampoo. You can buy a gallon of it for like $7. Just refill your own shampoos. Same thing go with like dish soap and stuff like that. So a lot of the domestic things is good. Becoming yourself, become real man. Becoming a true mensch. So some thoughts. One, don't have a personal trainer. Train yourself. Be your own personal trainer. So, like, okay, people's kind of weird. Like, some people and stuff like that. They're like, oh, you know, I wish I was Kim Kardashian so I could afford a personal trainer. And you're gonna be. I'm like, you don't need no person. Just train yourself. It's like, why is it so hard to train yourself? I mean, maybe I'm the rare bird where ever since I was a kid, I'm 35 now, right? I've always never wanted nobody else to tell me what to do. I've always wanted to do it myself, right? And I mean, like kids too, right? Like Seneca, all the kids want to do things themselves, right? So anyone who tries to like superimpose how you should and how you should do not do, get out my face. So yeah, don't trust nobody who has a quote personal trainer. It's just a signal that you either lack some sort of criticality when it comes to, you know, yourself, your bodies, etceteras. Come on, Vitrines team. Y'all still haven't updated this. I see the same images. This one's pretty, I mean, all the photos are pretty nice, right? But it's like, come on, it's like, we disdain the old. Show me the new. Come on, it's year 2024. Like, just don't repeat it twice. Don't repeat yourself. Actually, repeating yourself. What's up, bro? Don't repeat yourselves is the goal. Yeah, come on. No facial hairs. Not attracted. That's a nice picture. I think, is this shot by Christopher Anderson, the Magnum photographer? Maybes. I like that. I like that. I mean, all the photos are good, right? But just show me some new ones. That's a new shit. It's randomly like googling around like Zack Snyder. I'm like, it's curious. I just ChatGPT'd it. I'm like, does Zack Snyder work out? I mean, shout out to Zack, right? He's like 57 now, about to turn 60, right? I mean, superficially he looks great. I'm like, but he still kind of looks like a little bit wimpy, and I was kind of thinking to myself, well, yeah, 8777 Washingtons. All hail Steve Jobs. Can you see the soul of Steve Jobs in here, right? Like, is Eric Kim the most interesting person alive? I think so. I don't know nobody more interesting than me, right? And the funny thing too is like, I think the reason why all this media nonsense is quite critical is like you have like all these effing people like watching these like BS shows like Princes of Dubai, and even I was just randomly watching some YouTube clips about the Physical 100, the Korean show. It's actually really interesting because I mean like looks like everyone's on the juice. Even the guys who look like they're not on the juice are probably on the juice. How do you know somebody on juice? Just look at their face. If it looks like they got some like sort of plastic surgery or something on their face, they probably done it. I think even the weightlifter Mike Hearn. I watched the Netflix one of those documentaries. Like he's supposed to be all natty, but he looked like a Ken doll. He's definitely got lots of Botox in the face. You could tell that, right? And anyone who's got Botox or lip injector, plump things in their face, and their face look all stretched out and Botox and shit, I'm like, he's probably on the juice. Some other pro tips, how you know is somebody on juice or not, at least with men, right? Alright, do you see this meme a lot? Like, bald dude who's jacked, a little bit older, maybe 40s, 50s, it has a beard. So apparently, and the same thing with The Rock. My theory is any single famous person who looks jacked, or even not famous, whatevs, social media famous, whatevs, if they're bald or balding or hair loss that it is, it's typically a sign that they's like on the juice. Also, same thing with bodybuilders. Apparently, if people sweat a lot or get really, really hot, there's like this. I was watching a clip, the Atlas Stone Lift Challenge. It's like what they're holding a 100-pounder on their shoulder for however long they could do it. I'm like, man, I should audition for the show. I think I would do pretty. Actually, maybe I should, or create my own show. Who knows? All right. But anyways, so yeah, I finna stun all these noobs. So where's the auditions for the Physical 100 Part 2? I'm finna. Actually, what's interesting about being Korean American, Asian American, what is, right? People look at me, they're like, he's Asian, I'm finna punk him. I'm like, bruh, do you know who I is? Do you know who I am, right? And so my greatest joy in life is just trolling people, kind of like glitch the system, don't give people the standardized blah blah blahs. You gotta like kind of glitch the system, right? And that's why Ye, it's like, so yeah, probably my biggest hero is probably Ye, Kanye West. Yeah, and this is why this kind of just unchain yourself from the system. Actually, I bet you 2,000 years from now, people gonna look at Kanye like he was the last next Nietzsche, and yeah, I think that was good. Or maybe my aspiration is EK finna be the next Nietzsche. One day people gonna be like, I got that EK on me, EK, right? So philosophy raptoring, whatevs. And I'm only gonna speak from the male perspective because I'm a man, not a woman. For the most part, don't expose yourself to none of this modern day nonsense. I mean, I'm not on no social medias because if you're on social medias, you still SLAVE, right? I call it digital sharecropping. I think I got the term like a decade ago from, maybe it was a copy blogger or whatever, one of those Brian Gardner's one. Not 100% sure, right? But anyways, the thing with all ideas and thoughts, we always borrow or steal the idea from somewhere else. But I say, steal the idea and claim it as your own. Actually, even Cindy was telling me, one of the annoying things I always do is quote other people. I'm like, maybe this year, moving forward, right? I'm finna quote nobody, no self. I'm just gonna say it like I did. I'm like, that saying from the military school of life, that what does not kill me makes me stronger. Who invented the air? Give me that. Yeah, because when you quote it, I mean, I feel like the ethics of quoting people is that like, you feel kind of bad that you borrowed the idea from someone. You want to kind of give them a hat tip, but nah, too many words, too many syllables. Let's just kind of all killer, no filler. So anyways, Zack Snyder critiqued this. Yo, Zach, you watching this? Your homeboy's watching this, right? trust nobody who uses Smith machine. I'm like, is you dumb, right? And I'm starting to think too, like, I love Zack Snyder. The movie 300 had a huge impact on me when I was like a teenage kid. Everyone gets super, this is Sparta, right? But you look at Zack Snyder and it's like, come on, bro. Like, you're like, you have a personal trainer. It's like, train yourself. And you see the early photos of him next to Gerald Butler, right? And Zack Snyder's like this like wimpy looking dude with like New Balances. And then like you got Gerald Butler with his codpiece. I was actually looking at the physique of Gerald Butler. I'm like, is Kim more jacked and impressive than him? Maybe. But anyways, so I was looking at that judges. And the philosophy is, when you look at these directors, writers, producer, whatever, right? It's really important to look at the director, the person themselves, and then look at their physique and their face, their body composition, the fat percentage, muscles, they spend time in the sun, whatevs. Because every artist, every director strives to create something that they idealize themselves. I'll give an example. So, what's his face? The guy who did the original 300 comic, that one comic book art. Anyways, I look at a picture of him. He's kind of like got this like kind of ugly nose and kind of like wears a weird hat and kind of a weird character. A lot of people who create superhero comics just look at what they look like in real life. So that's why superficial things like matter to me, like how tall is you, what does your face look like, do you even lift weights, bro? And so even looking at Greg Glassman, the founder of CrossFit, right? Always start at the source. If it's a good beginning, is it a bad beginning? And what did Homer look like? The ancient poet Homer. Like apparently he was blind and lame. You know, nobody knows, but yeah, I think that's why you don't want, like I said, I'll give you an example. Let's say you had like, you know, a skinny, fat, average American man. Let's say he's short, right? A shorty guy. Let's say he's like 5'4" or something like that. And then you're curious, how tall is Eric Kim? I'm 6 foot tall. How do you automatically add an inch or two? Just walk straight, chest puff out. Yeah, so Eric Kim is 6 feet tall. Actually, one of the things I like about wearing my my boots, the La Sportiva Gore-Tex boots, it kind of gives me another like inch and a half. And then so when I'm walking, I'm strutting my, people's like, wow, he's so tall and handsome and attractive. I think actually me and Brad, we're about the same height. So fun facts. Bradford is like 6 foot tall. So even when I'm using ChatGPT 4, if you're getting it, guys, you have to get it. If you don't, use Finna Be Left Behind. Yeah, just the simple heuristic is just ChatGPT, anything that you would otherwise Google. For the most part, Google is bad. So thinking about becoming yourself, what does it mean to become yourself? Why does it matter, right? So the notion of becoming comes from, once again, our best friend Nietzsche, where he's like something like the Germans. He was actually critical of German people. I think actually Nietzsche was he Polish? He was like a Polish German or somewhere in Eastern Europe. Anyways, names are also important. It's kind of like the Germans are pretty bad and base, and it is. But one good thing that the Germans came up with in terms of their philosophizings was this notion of becoming. So, I mean, I don't know the German language, but apparently it's a good one. Is that you could essentially make up words by just combining different words, like Schadenfreude. Schaden means pain and suffering. Freude means happiness and joy. So when you're on the 405, you see some other sucker get a ticket, you're like, haha, that wasn't me, right? And also my theory about why people like humor, you know, TV shows and stuff like that, is it's essentially like a metaphorical Schadenfreude, where you see all these other people get hurt or whatever, right? And you just kind of laugh because you're like, haha, that wasn't me. So there's kind of a come up, come down, endorphins, or a feeling of security because you don't see other people get injured and you feel better about yourself. Also, one of the theories about horror is we like horror movies because you watch it, it's super scary, right? And afterwards, you're safe and it's just a movie at the end of the day. And therefore the come up and the relief that that's not you, it feels good. So actually, as a kid, my dad was like a big avant film buff, right? So I watched Schindler's List when I was like, what, 7, 8, 10, right? I'm like watching it, I'm like, oh, thank God that wasn't me, right? And then the come up after, you know, whenever we watch all those like weird war films where everyone's like starving to death and shit, right? I always watch films on flights because that's the only time you're kind of stuck, you got nothing better to do. And then you're just like, wow, I'm so grateful we live in this country of plenty, blah, blahs, right? So you go into Costco, it's like, man, this place is like effing paradise. Yeah, and my birthday coming up soon, January 31st, born in 88. It's like, what do you want for your birthday? The only two things I would want is like Costco gift cards to buy meat at Costco and or weightlifting plates, titanfitness.com, titan.fitness. And also the funny thing with URLs, right? I don't know, still at the end of the day, the .com domain is still just more legible. The website titan.fitness, it's easy to remember, but only random tech people like me finna remember it. Even Tim Ferriss, he changed to the 4hourworkweek.com to tim.blog, but it's kind of confusing. I mean, I guess it's good because people just like Google everything anyways, and even the new kind of the workout brand 10,000, the URL is 10,000.cc, and even the clothing brand that is that I'm not kind of super about anymore, outlier.nyc. I mean, my critique is like with marketing material, I'm just like very sensitive to marketing material and models, and the like outlier.nyc, there's too much like weird kind of homoerotic stuff, and it's just like a little bit weird. It's not like bad or this, like you see a dude's butt, and I'm like, that's okay, but you know, I look at my butt all the time. But anyways, there's kind of this I think we just need to promote a more masculine weightlifting forward futures, and even nowadays I'm just like looking at all these peoples. The only people I see in real life are impressive are like, I guess, like really tall people, and people look happy. So it's like, yeah, don't hate on me because I'm so much happier and sexier than you. Don't trust the shorty guys, shorty girls. The good thing is that like as a woman, ultimately the most critical thing is like how beautiful your face is and your morphological features, and you know, just getting fit and stuff like that. Because you know, you have a kid with a beautiful woman, your kid's gonna look beautiful, and beauty is the most greatest thing that we got. Even Fernanda Galiani della Moneta, I'm reading it right now, is like the ultimate value of all things is just man, right? And so there's nothing more beautiful and great than man, so focusing on man is a good one. But anyways, so in terms of movie directors and producers, I think Zack Snyder, for me, is actually definitely one of my faves because he done produce all these things that glorify humans, the human body, etc. I'm a big fan of I watched the Zack Snyder, the long cut, the Justice League with the black and white ones. That was pretty cool. And I feel like the weird bias in today's world is everyone, our new deity, our new godhead has become like money capital. It's like, how many M's or B's do you got? And the reason why I find it to be such a basic notion is, you know, everyone it's like what they look like in real life. So everyone be Jeff Bezos, they want to be Jeff Bezos rich, right? It's like, do you really want to be Jeff Bezos? He only 5'7". You don't matter if you got like a trillion Lambos, you don't want to be 5'7". You want to be 6 feet unless you get the bone reduction breaking surgery to add yourself artificial 2 inches. But that's also not a good strategy because you break your bones, your kid's still finna be short. The easiest way, so I mean, if you're the shorty guy, I feel bad for you, but then I mean, still just get your masculinities up, put on some just 100% carnivore diet. So anyways, don't trust so I'm like looking at the men's health fitness website, right? I'm like, don't trust nobody who uses knee braces, wraps, wrist wraps, weightlifting belt, you know, shit like that, because you're essentially, I hear some guys like, only pussies wear weightlifting belts. Why? So, I had a hernia, I throw my back. I'm like, bro, that's because you don't do no yogas, you don't do no real mobilities. He's probably on the juice, you're juicing your eyeballs out. There's actually stories of, I was talking to a dude at Spectrum who helped me set up my internet. He used to like deadlift 600 pounds or something. And then also don't do the pre-workout powder. That shit is like, it just makes you fat. It's just fake sugar, which makes you fat. Coke Zero makes you fat. And like caffeine, just like, why don't you just drink black coffee? Like, people's kind of silly. What's up, bro? People's kind of like super stupid, right? He's like, so you're gonna go to the pre-workout. I'm like, trust nobody who has an Instagram, watches the YouTubies. If you have a phone, iPhone, whatever, delete all the socials from your phone. That includes the YouTubies, TikTok. I'm like, I don't trust nobody who's on TikTok. I'm like, bro, don't you know that's freaking mainland China trying to intercept your brain? Yeah, ain't finna never let my kid do none of that nonsense. Yeah, and I think, my proudest thing as a parent is ever since Sen was born, right? I mean, for myself too. Me and Cindy, we don't watch YouTube, we don't watch Netflix, we don't watch TV show. So any parent, family who watches TV, I'm like, that's fine and all, but use basic. Don't be basic. I think, in today's world, my thought is, there's no good, bad, evil. This is kind of boring, not boring, right? So like 99.99% people out there, boring. When's the last time I met somebody who's interesting as myself? Maybe Ryan from Backyard Brew in Palo Alto, shout out. Use a real one. I'll never forget, he printed out me a Gyarados coffee bag. This is like, what's your favorite animal? And then this is when you know that like somebody's super legit. They just joke around. They're like, does it have to be real? It's like, no. I'm like, Gyarados. It's like, I know exactly what that is, right? So trust people in your age range. Like, I'm 35 and it's funny. Everyone assumes I'm younger because like I got a free spirit. All these other losers like care about your career and shit. This is driving like yo basic A3 Q3 basic Audi. Don't trust nobody who drives nothing besides a Prius, because you drive Prius, you don't got nothing to prove, right? It's like ain't nobody is like, I'm like super jacked and shit. It's like pull up my 2010 Prius. I'm actually in the process of matte black wrapping it, and I'm doing a poor job. But like my thought is, I would rather do a poor job and do it myself than to pay someone to do a good ass job, but you don't really have the pride of doing it yourself. And don't put no trust on no Hollywood actors. Okay, if you're curious, right? What is the Culver City namesake? This is Mr. Henry. Is his wife and his kid. Yeah, he actually founded the city. It's all hail Mr. Harry Culver. And also the part, like what Wizard of Oz was filmed here and stuff. And yeah. But anyways, I'm finna take over. For 5 summers, we took over. Oh, and also I'm starting a crypto hedge fund. If you're kind of curious, just want to poke your nose into it, just email me eric@erickim.com. I'll get back to you within 3 years or less. So thinking about the futures. But yeah, becoming yourself, I think, like, no standard script, stuff like that. Reading literature, it's fine, but my personal suggestion is limit your literature, reading books and stuff like that to a minimum. People have this false notion that the more you read, the more pages you read, the more hours you read is more virtuous and you become more wise. But in fact, that's not good, because even Nietzsche said, right, like, some people read in order to think, and that's not a good thing, because then you're being stimulated by foreign concepts which haven't laid nascent within yourself for long enough, and therefore as a consequence, kind of lack any sort of real weight. And another funny thing too, people I don't trust, right? All these people who are like anti-cocoa white people, and then once again, white doesn't exist. You want to say Caucasian or Caucasoid or say Eastern European, whatever, right? Essentially, when people say white people, they mean to say privileged, rich, kind of like lower on the Pantone skin scales. Yeah, like all these people be like super critical of cocoa white. Like I'm talking more about like, you know, like a lot of women I meet, right? No, right? And then it's like, yeah, and then especially a lot of them Asian American female women, right? And then they like date or marry a Caucasoid guy, have kids with them. I'm like, come on, you. So actually, the weird thing is psychologically, it's like you hate it, but you love it and you want it, right? And I'm like, ultimately, don't critique nobody, just like do your thing, just love your thing. And then like, I believe in multi-ethnic, racial marriage and child rearing. I'm like, Cindy's Vietnamese American, I'm Korean American. Our kid is technically half. He speaks like 10 languages now. More teaching him how to say Bitcoin. He knows the icon, he's look at the big B, right? Also some thoughts about the Bitcoin, the big buck, right? Is Jack Dorsey, who's probably one of the most underrated entrepreneurs of all time. Yo, Jack, if you want to get into the EK plan, shoot me an email as well. Yeah, it's just very simple. Just buy a shitload of weights, get a Texas Power squat bar, just get like a rack, Titan.Fitness, ships free to your house. I like the independent squat racks because like I just put in my second parking spot. That's when you know you have a real luxury in LA. You don't got one, but you got 2 parking spots. So I call that my off-the-grid gym. Gym also means gym nose naked. So if you're working out with a t-shirt on, that's not a gym. Work out without your shirt. And also I feel that more people should allow themselves to go chestless, go naked, right? Just don't show off your pee-pee. Yeah, it's gotta bring back the Muscle Beach vibes, right? And yeah, the reason why I feel that this is so critical, like once again, with the artist, you can only create and produce what as an artist as what you are, right? So for example, like critique of Basquiat, Pollock, stuff like that, right? Bro, you guys like a freaking meth addict, cocaine addict, coke addict, what is, right? Even like rappers like Future, stuff like that, right? It's like you're addicted to drugs, right? Like bad drugs, like I don't know, Molly Percocet, whatevs, right? Even alcohol, weed. So people's like, oh, I need to smoke weed to be creative. I'm like, I mean, like, you're doing that, then you just letting the weed talk. You ain't letting your soul talk. Hey, shout out to Kendrick, right? Yeah, so in terms of artists, I only trust sober artists. Like even Kendrick, his only vice is Captain Crunch cereal, I guess, right? And yes, you could quit alcohol, quit weed, quit stupid stuff. Don't even take protein powder, collagen, peptide. Just eat meat. Just eat meat. It's cheap. Oh, and also check out the new Ranch 99 in Westwood. Used to be a Barnes & Noble Borders or something like that, and it's pretty fun. So yeah, the reason why I find this also fun and important and entertaining, right? Like all these dudes are trying to buy the land, trying to be more masculine, right? And the most critical thing is use the full stack solution app. Use a full stack self, and going to get like rich for the sake of getting rich and making the big bucks, right? It's like, it's rather to beautify yourself to the maximum, increase your health indefinitely. Honestly, just like look at where all the happy producers, movie people live. Apparently Zack Snyder lives in Pasadena. I'm like, I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy, but I guess it's a pretty decent place to live. I mean, I personally love Culver. Like, actually, this is the important thing too, right? Don't people ask people about their opinion. Just like ask them what they do, right? So, for example, like when I meet people, I just ask you, like, where do you live? He's like, oh, I live in K-Town, or I live in Pico and Robertson, or I live in Culver City. It's like, oh, which street or which neighborhood or where? You know, I live in Blair Hills, whatever, right? So there's fake opinions in which people say, oh, this neighborhood, right? Then people put the money where the mouth is. So it's like, how much you paying in rent? How much you buy your house for? Or you can say the more subtle things like, how much was your house listed for, right? If you're into that, right? It's like, are you renting or you own, right? It's like, or how much is your mortgage payment a month, right? And then people are like, oh, it's like, what, 10,000, 15,000? Say, yeah, something like that. So as long as you still got a mortgage, you ain't free. And therefore, as a consequence, simple suggestions include, just asking people, like, have the chutzpah, have the BALLS to ask people more personal questions. Like, why are you asking me so many personal questions? Because I'm curious. Like, I ain't a cowards. I almost feel that, like, in today's world, one of the best ways you could do courage is a social courage. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask people personal questions, because ironically enough, the more personal you ask questions, the more you build connections.